Hey, I'm Deborah Atkinson, founder of Flipping 50. Every woman I know loves a little bit of core exercise, but I want to give you a secret before I give you these 10 exercises, each about a minute long, that you can do right along with me. And that is that core is not the secret to a flat belly. It's not the way to get rid of fat in the belly. It is necessary for a strong and supported lower back so that you can do the things that will help you reduce fat and or get a flatter belly. And that is strength training and or going fast, doing high intensity interval training or speed walking, for instance. So let's do these 10 exercises together. Come back at the end, stick around, and I'll tell you a few more details about core.
All right, let's do these together. This is a high plank. Now, if this bothers your wrist or elbow, you can also come down to your forearms on this one. I want you to watch something. I'm going to move, and I do this on purpose. Do you see how I'm pushing back through the ball of my foot? My heels are really pushing back. Do that on purpose. I'm not wanting you to move forward and back, but I'm wanting you to notice that you should be pressing back all the time. That actually keeps the tension in your lower leg, your upper leg, your core, your shoulders, but also soften the elbows. Do you notice mine aren't locked out? And if you hyperextend, if you are double jointed, you want to make sure that you're slightly flexed to protect your elbows. So those of you who are more hypermobile, you know who you are. It's much more important for you that you gain strength, but you've got to be careful while you're getting it. So we're holding here quite a while. If that's too long, just come down, take a break. Now we're going to get ready to flip it over, lie down on your back for a bridge, and we're going to move it. So we're up, knees, hips to shoulders in alignment first. Once you're able to hold that, now you're going to take it for a walk. That's just lifting the feet up off the floor, maybe 4 inches, maybe not even that much. But make sure you're not letting the hips sag while you're doing it. Yes, and who else does this with a puppy on the floor? It's playtime. If you're down there, you're fair game. So it is actually good for you and for them. By the way, it gives you serotonin. If you didn't know, it will decrease your cortisol level. So it's all good. All right. So keep those hips up. So about now, if you're fatiguing, you need a reminder. Hips lifted again. Don't let them sag down. And you want to make sure that you've got some space behind your neck. Don't jam your chin to your chest. We want a little curve in that cervical spine. Good, and then down. Okay, we're going to actually stay down on the back and do the old-fashioned bicycle. But here's a little nuance. Notice what I'm doing. My hands actually are not pulling on my head, not fastened behind my head, and I'm rotating side to side with my upper back and chest a little more so. And if you've done Pilates, you actually know in Pilates, you reach and grab that knee, and that is okay too. But you want those elbows going out wide, and you can multitask and push the dog away at the same time. Keeping that lower back down, what's important, and that you've got a long neck. You're not dragging that head forward, pulling on the neck. So this is why this is different and okay, whereas a crunch is not. Do you see we're not actually coming up and down? We're not straining through the neck, lifting it up and down. We're actually maintaining the lower back on the floor and just working on spinal rotation at the same time. Good. Lower back stays in the mat the entire time. Sweet. This one's called the single leg march. You're going to see this more than once because it's a fantastic exercise. So in this one, I start with a lower back on the floor, both feet down, and just lift one up. So you want to be bringing it up with about a 90-degree flexion at the knee joint. Your movement or motion all occurs from the hip joint. And so the knee is not opening and closing. Just notice that, because when you go to do it, if you don't have a mirror, it can be very easy to do. So I'm pointing out my lower back should be secure on the floor, both on the right and the left sides, no matter which leg is moving. And my arms are up and out of the way. That'll help you be aware of your core. You want that lower back to be down and you're breathing just very easy. And again, the dog wants to be a part of it. You're on the floor, it's playtime, right? That's Moses, by the way. Okay, so from here, we're just going to turn over, roll over to either side. You want to lean forward slightly onto that arm and watch. The top leg stays put, the bottom leg comes up to meet it. So this is a leg lift, but don't just take for granted the name of it and then go do your own thing. It's important that the top leg is up. That's your target. Bottom leg comes up to meet it. You're trying to reach heels to heels. Just lift and down. Good. Up and down. And by the way, all the motion or commotion that you might have with a dog or a cat, depending on what it is, actually is causing you to be very functional in the motion. So your core is tight. If you're able to keep scrolling through the exercise and you're still doing it while you're moving your arms, you're doing a lot of functional activity. Good. Just a lift and a lower. Click your heels together. Dorothy is kind of your cue here. And you don't have to do a lot of them. We're just really aiming for about 30 seconds on one side, 30 seconds on another. Onto your belly here. Now I call this an upper hyper because we're doing hyperextension, but notice my feet are staying down. This actually takes a little skill and concentration. For many women, what I've noticed is it's easy for them to lift both upper and lower body, but not easy to lift one or the other, especially if it's only upper body. So tuck the toes under, tuck the pelvis under, and make sure you're protecting that lower back. And your head comes up, but you're not really cranking that looking straight ahead. You're looking at the floor somewhat. And do see that in between, I took a little break, and do take a little break here. Coming into a plank position, we're going to do a low plank this time. You may have switched to low plank the first time. You may also have switched to knees, but we're going to get intelligent. So notice I'm moving the legs. Now, it's easy to let those hips elevate if you're moving the legs. So notice I did notice mine dripped up, so I pulled them back down. Again, it helps to have a mirror here so you can see that, because we all feel like, oh, no, I'm perfectly level, and those hips will creep up. And that's just, you're trying to give yourself a little bit more of an advantage. So keep it challenging. Drop those hips down as you can. Good. And then you can just hold and pause. It helps and makes the exercise much more intelligent if you're moving limbs, because now it's much more lifelike. Static holding poses or planks specifically, not as valuable as doing some movement with limbs once you can hold it beyond 30 seconds. Cat-cow back. Now I throw this one in here first as a bit of a break, but if you're actually right here really contracting, blowing out, you're moving your ribs to your hips, you're actually doing quite a bit of core, and we should count flexibility and mobility of the spine as core exercise. So enjoy this one, but also take advantage of it. The only way that you're bringing your ribs close to your hips there is you're contracting your core. So you're pushing the arms, the hands down into the mat, curling that tailbone under, and then opening back up again. And you're getting to a place of strength and contraction here, and then releasing it completely, and again, then coming into that contraction. And that's really what you want when you're doing core exercise. Alternately relaxing the muscles and strengthening the muscles, not just always keeping them tight and tense. You're going to see us flip over here in just a moment, coming back to single leg marches. Now this is just a new flavor. So instead of leaving the legs down, we're going to hold those legs up. Lower back comes down to the floor and stays there. This one may be difficult. So if you can't keep your lower back down, you're going to revert to the both feet on the floor and just lift and lower a leg, lift and lower the other leg. So in this one, you have no base of support, just your spine. So your core is doing all the work, and your lower back stays down as you drop the heel. Still got 90-degree angle at your knee. You want to be sure you're not just opening and closing that leg. So you get really quite a reach going out to the front, and the hinge happens, the movement happens from your hip, and that's it. Good. And you should be breathing easily here in this one. Nice job. And again, if you're struggling to keep that lower back down, it's better to take a break than to move through it, not down. Okay, stay right here. We're going to do bridges on the floor. Believe it or not, this is a core exercise. Your core is everything between your knee and shoulder. So I'm going to do a single leg lift. We just pull one up and come up and down. Now this is going to be a surprising answer to what's wrong with my glutes? For a lot of you, you may discover one side is not nearly as strong as the other. We never know that when we're on two at once. So just take the other one. It doesn't take very many. We did about 5 on one leg. Take the other one and come up and down, and you will suddenly realize where your weaker link is, which side is not quite as strong as the other. And then you can finish either alternating again, or you can take both feet down and finish strong, coming back to really good form with both and align, and feel how much easier that is. But you don't realize which leg is doing the majority of the work when you're doing both at the same time. I love unilateral work for that reason. Now rotation again. So spinal rotation here. You're going to lie down on your back or stay there. Palms up, please, and that opens up your shoulders, keeping shoulder blades down on the floor and allowing the knees to fall to the side. Now, you want your knees bent like this at about 90 degrees because that's going to be a little less weight. The more advanced you are, you can extend those legs, and if you need a little support, you can take both legs down with gravity, and you can bring the legs up one at a time, and I will show that to you. So you're going to drop the leg down and then lift up, and you would just go top leg, bottom leg, and then down to the other side, both together. So a lot of variations you can do here depending on whether you want this one, which is just a great starting point. You want to regress just a little bit for your lower back when you come back up, or here, extending, you want to go a little bit longer. Now, personally, I don't even love that. There's your regression. So legs can just do that 1-2 split. And then swimming, turn over on your belly. We always want to come into back extension and be sure we get the balance of rotation, lateral flexion. So you're literally just lying down, arms and legs are going, you're swimming, but notice my head position. So I'm really looking down, just not quite right below my nose, but a couple inches in front of it, and that is it. So I've got a good alignment through my neck and spine. Taking a break here. So if you need to, please do. And if you can last and do that for 30 to 60 seconds, go right on ahead. But it sometimes helps to just take a little pause in the middle, maybe do 4 times 15 seconds or 3 times 20 seconds as a good starting position. Remember, you want to train the good ones. There should be no pain here. A little muscle fatigue, yep, but that should be it. And then do come back up and out, and I like to come into a child's pose if you're able. If you're not, your knees may not tolerate this. Do a cat-cow back.
The one that we didn't start with is this one, and I want to give you this one and leave you with it because this is one you can do any time of day, seated at your desk, in a car, or anywhere, and nobody else has to know it. But if you need a little relief for your lower back, this is the key. Take your fingers, make them wide apart, put them on the bottom of your ribs and the top of your hips, and then just feeling that space in between. Take a deep breath in. Expand here, don't raise your shoulders, and then exhale like you're expiring through a straw. Keep blowing out. I want you to keep blowing out until you feel like you're almost empty and it's a little uncomfortable, almost like you're gonna cough. But could you feel that tension here, that contraction of the muscles as you expired? Your diaphragm helped you force that air out, and then you feel the transverses abdominis that wrap around you like a belt tighten up. That's your personal girdle. It's either on or it's off. Personal Spanx, just like that. Take a deep breath in, do it again. Exhale. All the way out. All we're trying to do is get you acquainted with those muscles again so that you can turn them on at any point. So right now, I'm still talking. Talking means I'm breathing in and out, really. And I'm contracting those muscles. Now, I can let go of those muscles. Now I'm not. You don't know it. You don't see it. Nothing happens. I'm not sucking in my gut. That's not what's happening. It's just embracing. So if somebody were going to throw me a ball, I'd be ready. You brace automatically. If I said, here, catch this, you would brace because we protect ourselves naturally. You're just trying to turn that on again because we don't play too much anymore. So we need that ability to turn it on when we bend over. We pick up a weight or a puppy or a child or a bag of dog food or salt pellets for the water softener. So there's your 1 minute to take with you all day throughout the day. Do 2 or 3 of those at a time and you kind of wake up your core. If you're sitting at your desk and you realize you've become like this, sitting up tall but you'll forget and you'll fade. But if you wake up that core, it will actually feel a little bit better. You'll want to sit up to make room for that contraction, and then you'll have way more energy, and those shoulders will drop away from your ears and tension will fade from your shoulders. You're welcome. All right, tell me how that worked for you. You've got a 10-minute workout. You can come back here and do it with me anytime, or you can just go through that flow of exercises on your own. Do them about a minute each. If right now you're brand new to the exercise and that feels like 1 minute was about as long as you could last or much longer, try it for 30 seconds. So then you've got a 5-minute workout. Perfect. And allow yourself some recovery time and time to transfer in between exercises. Let me know your questions. Not every exercise is appropriate for every body. And every exercise that you can't do right now, there's probably 3 more that you can do, so keep looking. You'll find there's an entire core playlist where I walk you through the how-to, the what, the why, and the when a core exercise is appropriate for you. And I'll see you on the flip side.